Hello.
Hello.
Good job, Warren.
We always start under the funniest circumstances.
We do.
Positive.
We've
Just-
got.
No, go ahead, please.
Oh, I was gonna say I've made it now to where he doesn't cut you off.
This is true.
Before
You still have some
before
dignity.
Joshua's pick
Oh.
would just be right over your face.
Well,
Like,
it
hold on,
depends
hold on.
whether or not we're going to show. Like, oh, there. Okay, bye.
Wait, sorry.
He immediately gets rid of her when
What?
she's talking.
Oh,
What
no,
is
it's
this?
like what happens when you pull something else, like whatever we're talking about, like when you pull something up on the screen to the side. And
Oh, would it be that fourth one? That'd be cool. Right there. Yeah.
I'm so confused as what I'm
know what
sorry.
I mean?
Technical difficulties, everybody. Joshua, thanks for super chat. Going in with a big reminder, Deadpool and Wolverine. Real quick, Kellen. I know we've just recently talked, but thanks for becoming a member. Can I can't show this. Thanks, Kellen. Appreciate that. I liked the other way, but for the life of me now, we'll keep it this way, I guess. I don't know. How does it look on the normal stream?
I mean,
That's
there's just a
something
blank square.
There's nothing underneath.
There's
You
a
ever
blank
play
square
Mario,
there, right? Okay.
Mario Kart with 3 people, and
Okay.
What happens when you show a website or like what we're talking about? What's that?
So
screen?
that's remember last stream where I was like, I figured it out. This is what it showed, and then when I presented, it put the website right there. But then when I went to do it, it didn't. So let me try this as we go into some topics here. But first and foremost, welcome everybody to the stream. I am Warren.
Chris.
Is Jasmine below me?
Yeah, I'm right here.
Okay. Jasmine. This is Jasmine. And then nope, this way.
Nope.
Thank
Chris.
you, you did it. Oh wait.
We did it.
Oh.
We're so good
Yeah.
at this, guys.
Jimmy can be the fourth square. Yes. No multiverse podcast this week because it's his birthday and the guy wants to be all lazy and stuff, but we let him do it. Let's see if I can actually do this. This is what I set up last time, and I was celebrating.
Oh, we lost Warren.
So it's
I thought it was
different. And I was like, oh man.
me. It wasn't me. So.
Disney.
I feel like we've all had internet trouble.
Oh my gosh, did it do it? Did it do
Yeah,
it?
we did it on accident.
Stunning.
No, this is exactly what I set up before. I don't know why it didn't do it last time.
Well, this time we can actually see it.
Mhm.
Oh, that's perfect. Okay.
Great.
That's perfect. Okay, so real quick, I did learn more about these what are they called? Community leaderboard.
Oh, the crowns.
Yes. So as you can see, so actually here's like a good example. Firestar at some point in time, you were number 1 with the crown. And then I see Jared Ortez came with number 2, and then Firestar, you became number 2, and then it looks like Marvelous Minds is number 1. Basically, the more you comment, the more points you get, the more, and then it's like super stickers, super chats, and I can't even remember. So comments, super stickers, super chats, whatever else might be, just donations, I guess, right? So I don't think it doesn't like do anything for YouTube. Like it'll always give you a badge for the top 3 is what it does. So it gives a badge to the top 3 people. But we on the channel, we will figure out something to do with who gets the most points, and we'll have to keep track of who has the most points at the end of each stream, and then maybe do like a monthly thing.
Okay, cool. That'd be fun.
Do some cool giveaways. Like I'm really gonna try to get those here. Actually, the first thing that I want to do.
You want to talk about popcorn boxes?
Yes. No. That's exactly what I want. That's exactly what I'm pulling up right now.
I know exactly what you want to do.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm doing right now.
I know something about Warren. It's my man likes his popcorn buckets.
It's true. Dude knows me.
I feel like that was one of the first conversations we ever have is his love for popcorn. Like I think when
oh yeah, that's true.
He did a deep dive about how much he loved not just popcorn buckets but popcorn.
Well, yeah, popcorn is like that's it.
Here it is. We got to talk about this because
now we've lost it.
No, I did on purpose.
It's got a load.
Oh, you're getting good at this, Lauren.
Look at that big boy.
I know, right? I don't know why it didn't work last time. Yeah, like this thing is like the.
I love how it's
like I might move my sign. I might move this and like put a purple light behind Galactus to light him up. I put it right.
The eyes do light up though, from what I'm seeing.
They do light up. No, and I've seen it. What's really weird is this says AMC, but then I saw like Megaplex also is going to
It's
offer it. Like, I don't think it's exclusive to AMC. Cinemark, yeah. I don't think it's exclusive to AMC because like you said, I've seen the Cinemark one. But what's funny to me is this is like kind of like our best look at Galactus yet. Like we've had like some
popcorn bucket, I
mean we've had some like art.
There's art.
Yeah, like
Snapple. That's what it was. Did you see the Snapple?
But it's like digital. It's not like I don't know how to explain it.
Yeah, it's not. It's like concept art used for something. We got a really good look at Galactus, but it's funny how they did a whole trailer for this popcorn bucket, and it was like their Galactus reveal for this thing. It was actually kind of crazy.
We had like a silhouette look from Empire the other day.
Right, yeah, and his hand was bigger than the Earth in that one, and that's what I'm really hoping stays
isn't that
true.
A comic book image of him, like that's a comic cover of him reaching like that. So
well, no, it is, yes, but I want that to happen in the movie, is what I'm saying. Like,
I think it's going to. I feel like, and again, I know we constantly talk about Deadpool and Wolverine, but it did a really great thing, and I've made this comment before, but when it made
clip it.
No!
Boom.
But when it had all of those comic book images come to life, Wolverine standing on all the skulls, there was a visceral excitement from not only the audience, but those people that didn't know heard those cheers, heard the jeers, and did the research on their own. And so I feel like that's going to happen a lot in this film too. There's going to be so many nods to specific panels in comics or even comic book covers that's going to excite the ones that know and invigorate the ones that don't know.
Definitely. And y'all can come here to get that info.
Yeah. Because once those screenings hit, we're going to be in there with our notebooks jotting down every single moment.
So Jasmine actually brings up a point, because I've never
been a note taker.
I've never taken any notes, but I've only, this is going to sound like bougie, but I've only been to premieres. I've only been to one screener. The rest have been premieres.
Sure.
So, two screeners. Wakanda Forever and Shang-Chi. But I was even at the premiere for Shang-Chi. So I've never taken notes at a premiere. Do you take notes at a premiere, or you just do it at screening?
It really, it depends on whether they're comic book movies or not, or if I have screenings or not. So like I just saw this week, Ballerina, F1, and How to Train Your Dragon. So all of those screenings, I have another screening coming up Friday, Monday, and Tuesday. So in that case, my very first watch is me just absorbing it, and it's all of
right.
My second one is always going to be note-taking, because now I know where the beats are. So I'm getting quotes, I'm getting moments, I'm getting like more detailed. So if I was watching Deadpool and Wolverine again, it wouldn't just be, the comic panels. It's what exactly is he doing in that moment? How is he standing? What is he wearing? So it's all of those detailed things that I'd like to break down for comparison. So
if you only get like a premiere,
I would bring a tiny notebook, or immediately after I would I'd record my thoughts. And that's typically what's been happening is, yes, Christopher Jones said notes. Yes, notes. This is our, and I don't have, something you should know about me, I don't have a very good memory. So I have to record or document immediely, or it goes away.
There you go. Yeah, someone said, Michael said, I've never been a note taker. I've never been a note taker. Like even in college, I hated it.
Commendable. Because you have such a deep love and knowledge that just stays in there, and I envy that. I mean, I could be introduced to someone 6 or 7 times and forget their name unless you make a very big impression on me. So I mean, take notes.
And I'm kind of the same way.
Thomas, can you just relax, please? Anyway, what were you saying?
No, I got your joke there. No, I when it comes to all this stuff, I remember everything. But I'm the same. Like if I meet somebody, I'm gonna have to like really say their name 7 times, right? Like to get their name. But yeah, so I mean, I did see the comment, Justin Curry, and I saw somebody else say it. Was that real news about the new Black Panther?
We were just talking about that.
we were just talking about how there's now a white Black Panther, but this isn't the comics. So this doesn't transfer over to, I mean, not now at least, doesn't transfer over to the MCU. I don't know what they're going to do in the future. We have heard there's going to be a new Black Panther. I'm assuming he will be black and not white like in the comics. And I don't want to talk about it too much because it's only the first issue. We have no idea what's going on with this story. All we know is he took off his mask and he had blonde hair, blue eyes, and the skin was white. He was calling T'Challa dad. T'Challa was calling him son. We have no idea what's going to happen. So I can't really say much on it because I don't know. But
interesting. I'm excited to see what continues to see albino and adopted son. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm curious to see what they're getting at here. But I want to dive into. I have so many tabs pulled up. Up here. Here. Yes, here. Hold on. Stop screen. Present. Share screen. I'm getting it all, guys. I'm getting it all. The Disney layoffs.
Mm-hmm.
Bum, bum, bum.
So, Jasmine, Chris, have y'all heard about this?
No, this one I have not.
I did. This was like yesterday or the day before that this happened.
So Disney's recent announcement it'll be laying off hundreds of its film, TV, and finance divisions has led to gloating by the critics. I haven't actually seen this, who view this as a result of the company going woke, and I guess that's where the title comes by: "Go woke, go broke." I think this is right in line with what Kevin Feige and Bob Iger have recently said. And you talk about memory. I'm so bad. It's like I read so much stuff, I forget where it all comes from. Like, I don't know if it's Deadline or Variety. Like, I can't remember who did the report, Chris, where it talked about how Marvel's completely changing. They're only doing Disney Plus shows that are like not about main characters. They're focusing on movies again. Feige's not
Hollywood. I want to say Hollywood Reporter.
Hollywood Reporter, maybe. What'd you say, Jasmine?
I thought that was Deadline.
Maybe Deadline, right? So this is what I mean by like, sure, I have good memory, remembering everything happening inside like a Marvel universe and stuff like that, but outside of that, not so much. What is this? Hold on. Now it blocks you off again.
It's okay. I'll just
like Jazz would watch.
Yeah, I like the arms too.
Like, yeah, right. Like Jazz would watch Deadpool and Wolverine again. I bet you she would.
3 times, my guy. 3 times.
I've seen it a lot more than
that.
I know. So anyways, I don't care personally. We can talk about it. I don't personally care about the go woke, go broke type of stuff. I just think it's been about they haven't created good movies, right?
I think they just keep missing the mark. This goes into
that's what I'm saying.
Into the Lilo and Stitch. They canceled the Tangled show, Snow White, really just all of the live action shows they've been trying to modernize, but I don't know what group of people they're talking to when they're trying to modernize. I don't know who they're making these movies for, because we just want live action of the movies that were already there. Yes, you can add your own flavors and spins on it, but when you completely change, and it sucks because I understand what they were trying to do, just Lilo and Stitch in general. I know that's kind of off topic from what we normally talk about.
No, it's in line with what we're talking about.
Did you guys, well, I just mean Marvel specifically. But did you guys watch Lilo and Stitch? Do you know anything about what's happening with that?
So my brother, well, I guess I don't want to spoil things.
I mean, it's been
my brother watched it. He told me all about it. Told me about the ending, which confused me because it kind of goes against the whole family thing.
I can talk around it, I guess, if we don't want spoilers. But
yeah, let's avoid. It's only been out for like a few days, right? Yeah, a week or so. It came out this weekend, right?
2 weeks.
I guess we're on Thursday now.
2 weeks, I think.
Okay.
It's been out for a bit. I think it's clear.
That's okay. I don't want
to.
But I digress. It's just essentially that it's they took what was originally there and they tried to give Nani more of a modernized backstory. The reason why she made the decision that she made is because that's the decision that most women of today would make. Why force them into, the times of back then when she should have her own existence, essentially.
See, but it goes against the whole Ohana means family thing.
Which is like the whole point.
The whole thing.
That story that they created is a lovely story. It's just not the story of Lilo and Stitch. And I think that's why people are up in arms, is because I would love to hear that story. That's great. Just don't label it something that we grew up on.
Right.
So that's the exact thing. And unfortunately, I think it gets so tangled with the go woke, go broke. But I don't think that's really the issue. I think it's easy for people to blame that, or for Disney to blame that, or for whoever that wants to blame it. I think the issue is exactly what you just said. That's not the story we came to watch. It doesn't matter what you changed it for, right? It's the fact that you changed it. And we don't know who these movies are being made for.
Right,
the adults are the ones that are all excited for. You know,
we're the ones with
like,
the money.
but then you change it on us, and it's like, don't do that. But the other part of that is they continuously make these changes in a way that is just going to hurt them. Like, for example,
I know they really
Seven
are
Dwarfs.
like self-sabotaging.
We don't want to use the dwarves from Snow White. So what do? They just get rid of them completely, and now there's 7 people without a job. Like, they set themselves up for these low-hanging fruit, like nut taps that they're basically taking left and right. And then it's the same thing with Lilo and Stitch. It's like, oh, we're gonna have her assert her dominance by going to a school. I don't know if we're not doing spoilers still, but going to a school in the middle of a landlocked state where
on the mainland,
it just doesn't make sense. Like, why are you doing
but it does make sense for the new character. It does not make sense for the story that they're, but that's the same thing with Snow White. Like, the whole time her and Gal Gadot were going around saying, oh, we don't need a man to save us. Every moment that went through that movie, she was saved by a man. In fact, I can talk about Snow White. The very end of the movie, she saved everything by saying a man's. I think it was Steve or something like that. But the way that everything was saved, was by her saying a man's name. And so I'm like, what? Why do we have this rhetoric that things have to be weird? Why do we have to have this rhetoric that we're diverging so far away from the original text when it worked? If it ain't broke, don't fix it. You know?
Well, that's what pisses me off about like the remakes. Like, God, I've said it so many. Just make them shot for shot. Like, no one is going to complain if you make it shot for shot. No one will, unless the CGI is just ridiculously terrible and the voice actor or the actual acting is terrible. It's no one's gonna complain about a shot for shot remake.
Ooh, I cannot wait for us to talk about How to Train Your Dragon. Yes, I get Sarah Silverman. I get the mom from How I Met Your Mother at the end, Tracy. And
really, Tracy?
Oh, I get the mom all the time. Yeah,
I kind of like have her little. You have her smile going.
I do have her smile.
Thank you.
It's the smile.
And now that she was in the Penguin, like
everybody loves her now.
Yeah, because we got eyeballs.
Thank you for that, James. Super chat.
But just finishing up that. Joshua.
Thank you, Joshua.
Finishing up that, when you watch How to Train Your Dragon, I think that's going to be the big comparison, because that is a shot for shot remake with a few little scenes.
Oh, How to Train Your Dragon?
Oh, yeah.
That is a shot
for shot remake.
Oh, good.
Shot for shot, moment for moment, song for song. Like, they took it from the page and quite literally, I mean, everything. Every moment is a shot for shot. The only thing that was added was things to explain, honestly, why is Astrid black? And
why is she black?
But the way that they explain it, you're like, oh, actually, though, nah, that makes sense. And it just, then we go to the rest of the movie.
Can I guess, is the reason because she was kissed by the fire of the dragon or something like that?
No, it's nothing.
I was a guess.
Everything. Her reason for being black just is overall just like, oh, this all makes sense now.
Okay. Well, that's nice to know, because that's one of I actually watched that the other day with someone who hadn't seen it before, and she loved it. So that was fun. This is also a good.
That sounds like you went on a date. We're going to talk more about that. Ooh.
Yeah. This is also a take where there are probably, I mean, I think we've passed all the movies that I would not want remade. I think they've already attempted to remake them. Like, I'm trying to think, like, as a kid, Little Mermaid was my favorite, and that was a whole debacle, obviously, casting a black actress to play Ariel. And I mean, and then Snow White, I don't know what Rachel Zegler is. Is she Latino?
I think she's Puerto Rican.
She's Latino,
something like that. Yeah. So, and she's not like, I am a white Latino, like I'm Mexican, but all you see is whiteness, right? All you see is my Scottish, and she's not like that, right? She looks like she's some type of Spanish. So like this whole thing, Disney lays off there, a bunch of people in the TV and film division and the critics are now going, go woke, go broke. You can obviously see how that's a big thing here. And now I'm going to tie this back to Marvel. There's been talks about basically Sue Storm as the leader of the Fantastic Four, not Reed Richards. And, to be honest, a lot of this stuff doesn't really bug me that much. I don't like the race swaps, all this stuff. Like, to a certain extent, I'm like, stop doing it just to do it, right? But I'm like, I don't really care if Sue's the leader, bringing it back to what we said before, in another type of film or something. But why aren't we sticking to source material? Like, why are we changing it just to change it? I understand this.
I need a reason why. And Chris, I kind of
right.
I need you to argue with me on this one. I'm
you
okay
want me to argue with you? Sorry, I need a.
I think
okay.
I might.
Whatever you say, I'm just going to argue with you.
I just don't know if I fully agree with what I'm about to say, so I need the contrarian on the other side. I just need you're talking it through. I don't know if I need that unless there is a reason why Mr. Fantastic Reed is like, is he broken, disabled, mentally broken? Like, why is he not able to be the leader? That's what I'm talking about. It's like, if she's the leader, great, but you can't just do that. I need it
That's
to be
the worst thing I've ever heard you say, Jasmine. Cannot believe that just came out of your mouth. How inappropriate.
I take it back. I don't want
So real quick. Yeah, I did say that I don't like the casting that Snape is black, but that's because we've already seen a character, very much like that. Like, not a lot of people know Nick Fury was white in the comics, like iterations of him white in the comics, and then Sam Jackson. What?
People don't
know that?
I don't think I think there's a lot of people that don't know that.
No, I think there's a lot of people that don't know
But
that.
Sam Jackson is an amazing Nick Fury, right? And I don't think his race plays a role in his character.
I don't think
case,
Samuel
right?
Jackson got that role because of his color.
No, exactly.
He got that because he is an amazing personification of that role, and he adapted it and played it so well that there's an entire generation of people that go, yeah, Nick Fury was probably always black in the comics. And it's like, that's the way it should be done.
But
like,
then, and then Kang, everyone's like, Kang's blue. I'm like, no, Kang is white. He's a white guy. He's a human, right?
He wears
but does that matter at all for his character? No, it doesn't. Does Snow White's skin color matter? Snow White?
No, it's white is purity. White is not. It was never about.
That's what they want you to think.
That's what they want you. No, it was always about her purity. She was,
but I bring all this up not because I like talking about it, but because
people are.
I mean, Disney has made these decisions, and if the movies were a great success, we wouldn't be having this conversation right now, right? But the whole go woke, go broke thing, I'm kind of with Chris. I do think it's an excuse that people latch on to. To me, writing has not been there for a lot of these movies that have flopped.
Yeah.
It's been terrible writing, right? And then you can say, oh, it was woke writing. You can say whatever it was. But if you have a woke project and it's amazing, people aren't going to say, oh, it was successful because it was woke, right? No one's they're just going to say it was a good movie.
Is there a woke project that has succeeded that we could use as the parameter?
I don't know.
Not one.
I really hate the term woke, to be honest, because it's such a broad
quotes around it.
It's such a broad term. And again, I think people use it as an excuse a lot. So I really don't like the term, but this is the literally headline of the article.
When you use the word woke, because you're self-proclaimed, not more even almost as a joke, but you've self-proclaimed like I'm pretty woke. Like
I would never use that word.
You have before off stream. Yeah, but as like almost like a joke. So this is why I ask you,
as a joke, like offhandedly.
Right.
Yeah. But I would never.
Do you see the word woke as like a negative term? Is my question.
It's as negative as the word influencer. I think that there's such a negative.
That's a really good explanation.
Sorry, this is a great example.
Agatha
That's actually a really great example. Thank you, Jared. That's actually a great one. Yeah.
But that was like a fantastic show. Like, so nobody even talked about it.
Yeah, I loved it show. Yeah.
But yeah, I think woke has the same kind of negative connotation with influencer, and I think that woke is one of those words that, and I don't want to Jasmine explain as I do, but woke came from the Black community.
Jasmine explain.
Well, because you know how I
jazz explain.
I'm just jazz explain, but woke originally came from the Black community, and then the white people took it and they changed it.
They do that. Nope, they be doing that. Let's not.
I like that.
That's a thing. They be doing that.
That's definitely a thing.
And now we've got this like ugly taste in our mouth. And like I said, I was at the F1 screening yesterday, and even getting my ticket, they couldn't find my name. They were like, "What outlet are you from?" I was like, "Oh no, I'm by myself. Like I'm my own outlet." And they're like, "Well, what outlet? Like who are you with?" I was like, "No, I'm
like Jasmine Moore, biatch."
like, "Oh, an influencer? Oh, okay." And like toss my tickets at me. But it's that negative connotation that
rude.
Yeah, oh no, it was really shitty. It was a weird, really bad feeling because I just, whatever. Like influencers aren't respected.
I was gonna say, but you know what it is not you, it's the other ones who do stupid stuff on the carpets.
That's the other problem.
I know.
That could easily translate to the entire conversation of what's going on down here. It's like
there
a few people spoil the whole thing, right? Yeah.
Yeah. Right. Well, these are I love these comments. Joshua with another one. I'm glad we're getting Shia LaBeouf instead of Norin and Pat's time. Miss Silver Surfer so hot.
I mean, there you go.
I will say it is an interesting move to go with the female surfer when it's like nothing, right? I mean, but you think back to but you think back to Rebecca Romijn as Mystique in the original X-Men movies, it's just paint, you know what I mean? Like
the Kendall.
Is Marvel gonna do that again? I mean, I know she's aged quite a bit, but she looks to still keeping it tight.
Paint on real
Then oh, I meant to click this one. Love you guys, love you too as well. And then I'll take silver melons over silver pickle any day. Oh, that's funny. Okay, so going back to because I wanted to ask you specifically, Jasmine.
Oh God.
Going back to the whole Sue might be the leader of the Fantastic Four, which by the way, I've heard they're actually doing reshoots. I don't know the validity of it.
That too.
You've heard that too, right? Yeah. I've heard they're doing some reshoots to the end because some test audiences did say that they didn't like that Sue was the leader. And I just want to stress that we don't know if these reports are true, right? I don't know if Sue is the leader of the Fantastic Four. And same as Jasmine said, like if she is, they better have a damn good reason why, right? Who knows? Maybe Reed gets the reason that I thought maybe Reed gets so caught up in his calculations, not knowing that Sue's just like, we gotta make a decision, bro. Like, and I'm fine with that.
Takes over
because I do think those are two of their personalities. So I'm fine with that. I'm fine with Reed getting caught up in, trying to solve everything, right? Which is what he does. And then Sue is like, we have to make a decision. I'm making it for you, for my son, for my brother, for Ben, blah, 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 blah. And even in the trailer, I always forget the quote, but are you the protectors of this world? And Sue's even like, we are, right? It's not Reed who says it. And I'm okay with that, right? Things like that I'm okay with. I just don't want Reed to get pushed to the side and I'm kind of like, Sue is my favorite character of the Fantastic Four. Like she always has been. So, but I want it to be comic accurate is the thing.
It's the Pedro Pascal of it all. I wonder if
he couldn't really play a leader.
Like he's just so busy with all of his other projects that they had to minimize his role. And in that way, Sue, like he's just off doing all of his calculations to try to save the world. And we pan to him every once in a while. So I could see in that Sue has taken more of a front and center role for the Fantastic
Four. That answer didn't. That's fine, Warren.
No, I know it didn't.
It's scratching his beard.
I see the beard of contempt. Yeah, I get it.
When I start doing this, when I start pulling on iron, that's when
that's when he's like, I'm gonna wait for her to pause, and then I'm gonna sink my teeth.
I'm digesting.
Well, because that makes actually a lot of sense, though. Also, and I do think, like, as a Reed Richards, I think we've all discussed openly, like Pedro probably wasn't my first pick.
He wasn't any of our first picks.
I don't. Yeah,
we had John Krasinski. He was perfect.
But so it's like John Krasinski boat, then I would want Emily Blunt. Only because
every single shot that we've seen of I'm like visualizing them in my head of Mr. Fantastic in the trailers for the most part, probably like 80-70% of them, like he's distressed. Right? So you're not like
that's what I'm saying. So
you're not seeing like this like confident Reed Richards that actually has like some type of nerdy cockiness. Like every single shot of Pedro, he's like disheveled or like Sue's giving him a hug and a kiss to make him feel better, or he's freaking out about something, or he's got this face of uncertainty.
Father role, though. That's the same old dribble that they do for every daddy who's about to have a child, and the whole world is against them. Like, that's just typical writing. You know, it's I'm about to have a son, so I have to make sure the world is safe, and they spiral into the world has to be safe for my child because my child is the only thing that, like, that's just typical stress father writing. I'm not too concerned about that. Does that make sense?
I get it. As you say that, I feel like Marvel needs to get some new writers for their stuff. I feel like they have some like batches of writers for some things, and like the ideas in the room are being pitched as these kind of progressive things where I don't think, like, man, I really like, if we're talking about that word woke, right, we could probably consider like the actual population of woke people to be very, very small. So I've never really understood why they're pandering to such a small percentage of people, and then their movies don't do well. And then they're like, why aren't our movies doing well? It's like, well, because you wrote a movie for like 4% of the population, and then 96% of the Jasmine's like, hi, I'm in the 4%.
I have a comment. I'm trying to be nice.
Oh,
anymore.
Yeah. So yeah, it's just super interesting. I do want to just get this out real quick. Thank you, Mr. Right Now's channel. I super appreciate that. And hello to Denmark. Jasmine's struggling this one.
Yeah, that's a big good comment. Thank you.
That's when we started in 2018. So yeah, Jasmine, what you snuck over the wall now? What?
It's a slight deviation, but it still goes off of what you're saying. Have you guys seen that new show, Adults, or seen like trailers or billboards for it?
Not heard of it.
Okay, there's this new show on HBO. It's literally called Adults, and it's adults of today's age. And it told to me by Quajandro, who loves the show. And when I asked him about it, he started talking about all these references, and I said, I don't understand it. He goes, I know. It's because we've aged out of the demo. And the demo is, it's 20 to 30 or like 18 to 35 or whatever. But they are. Okay. I'm still in the demo too, I thought. But they're not making it for people on the far end of the demo. They're making these movies for the people in the middle of the demos. And I think that's what Marvel is doing too. It's not, we're just not.
Are those people enjoying the movies?
I think the problem is we're louder. Whether they
You're louder.
No. I don't. I get that whole explanation, but I still argue it. I still say even people in the middle of the demo, a very small minority of them are the woke people, right? Because I think generally people are normal, right? Like generally, you have your far radicalists for everything, right? For everything, and they're very loud online. But I think for the most part, people are relatively normal, right? But
depends on what you mean by normal.
I think by normal, and I could be wrong, you can tell me to shut up. I think by normal he means like don't really care. Like I'm not offended by your personal beliefs, your free agency for you to have. Like that's my, we'll talk personal beliefs. Like I believe everybody should be able to do and act and have whatever they want.
I agree.
Like
as long as they're not forcing other
normal.
people.
I think most people share that opinion. Like
that's
I don't
what
think
I think
normal
as
is
well.
Like conform to something. It's like most people aren't bothered by what other people are doing.
Or like a good example is like the cancel culture, right? Like when these people online get offended, I only think it's actually like a few people that get offended, but then they make a big deal about it and get people to rally for them because people like a commonality for things, right? They like to be a part of something. But I actually still really think that like most people don't really care, but people do like to be a part of something. So I still think in that situation, it's still a minority of people who are who these studios are pandering to, and I think that's why their movies are failing. But then you look at, sorry, thank you, Justin, you're awesome. But then you look at the Thunderbolts or the new Avengers. It kind of failed, but it was a great movie, right? So maybe this is a completely just different conversation of, are people not interested in? Okay, go ahead, Chris.
I was just gonna say, I think it goes back to a comment I made really early when you pulled this up. Like, I feel like to a big extent, like the go woke, go broke is a bit of an excuse. I think.
Yeah, totally.
I think Disney as a whole, Marvel, a lot of movie companies in general have just dropped the ball on creativity.
But then we've got movies like Sinners that does spectacular, and
because it's a really good, unique, fresh story.
It's original, right? It's original and fresh.
And then news outlets will, I think it was Variety, will just trash it for no reason at all.
And it had a female lead actress. It had a black actor, and like the problem isn't the thing that everybody wants to blame the problem. Oh, the problem is America's too racist. It's like, but going back to what Warren said, like, but we're really not. Like, I don't like some people are, I guess, and like some people like
absolutely are.
Some people definitely are, of course.
No, I'm not questioning that, but I'm saying like I don't spend my days, and I feel like nobody really spends their days sitting around drinking a beer talking about how much they hate the other side of the world. Like, I just don't think it's that common. Like, people are generally pretty tolerant and for the most part have their opinions that might differ. Like, I'd imagine somewhere deep in the soul of Jasmine and Chris, we have some different opinions on things, but that doesn't make me care.
Everything that you say.
We always agree on everything, Jasmine, and you're 100% right about
There's
that.
not a single thing I would disagree on.
But that doesn't make me, I don't, oh, Jasmine thinks this different than me, so I can't really associate with it. Like, that's just such an obtuse mentality. And I think that is part of
that
the
is
issue.
kind of, yeah. You're right. That is what I was kind of referring to as like normal. I think most people, I think a lot of people would be like, yeah, they don't share the same opinion as I do, but I don't have to go kill them or cancel them now.
No,
right?
Like, I'm actually really happy to hear your opinion on things. I think it's a fresh take. I mean, me and Warren share a lot of opinions. We grew up in the same state. We had the same growing up experience. We come from the same religion. Like, we are pretty like-minded. So having somebody like you in here kind of sharing your experience, your perspective, the emotions you get from watching shows is really fresh. Like, it's very, very upbeat and freshening for me. Like, I can appreciate stuff from a different light.
I think that's what's really great too, is while you'll allow me to just, rant about my experiences and my interpretation on things, it's not just that you're like, no, that's wrong. It's, oh, I may not agree with that. However, have you tried this take? And it's that give and take that I think is really important. And yeah, I agree with you. I think that this is an excuse. I think the go woke, just everything we've said, I'm now confounding it into one. Yes, I do think it's an excuse. I think it's a distraction. I think that the layoffs are shitty. I think that probably every single person that got laid off worked their butts off to contribute and do exactly what they were told, only to have the floor wiped out underneath them. It also makes sense. It's just crazy how in a year, especially because me, I'm an influencer for the Power of Joy side, which is the black side of Disney. So they bring a bunch of black creators together to promote shows and do fun things. It's, their DEI outreach. It's really fun and great. But it went from, hey, we're going to fly you guys out and do lots of things, to, sorry, we can't afford to even send this email anymore. Let us know if you're going to be there anyway. And just from a year of them paying for everything for us so that we could help promote things, to like us barely even getting the emails anymore. It's just interesting how much has changed from Disney in just a year.
Well, I'm curious to see how much more is going to change now, because despite whether we think blaming it on wokeness is like a cop-out or not, that is how they're labeled right now.
No, that is a problem.
That is how, and to be honest, some of their choices for their remakes and stuff have been very questionable. And then on top of that, you have very young actors just saying what they want. Well,
that was the real problem with Snow White, was she kind of plungers of her own story.
They should have gotten her PR training before.
Yeah, that was like a whole different problem. And then, of course, that was like, oh, Disney went woke with this. Like, no, they just hired an extremely unlikable actress to play the main character who sabotaged her own movie, which, guess what? Affected absolutely everybody who spent all their time and work and energy making that movie. Like, she got paid. Like, it's a whole different problem. But I do think a big majority, as it seems like we're switching topics, is just poor writing and lack of creativity. I was actually reading a thing, it was last night, that like in 1998, Pixar planned 15 years worth of movies in one dinner.
The concept of movies,
I'm sure they didn't write all the scripts.
They sat down and they planned some concepts of brand new movies in like 1998 for the next 15 years. Right?
What was it? Absinthe they were drinking? Like, tell me.
Whatever it was working, because that was like the golden era of Pixar. And then after that 15 years, I don't know who's in charge of setting up that dinner with all the drugs and the alcohol, but like they stopped doing it, and now we're getting these really crappy. Like, every Pixar movie has been a flop for like the last 6 years. Like,
maybe people are doing less.
Coming out soon. I'm excited for that one.
Which one is it?
Elio. It's the
but it's not going to do well.
I know.
Right,
maybe the issue is in these meetings they're not like taking psychedelics anymore, and that's why the creativity's gone. But there is some good news. This comment highlights it. This is the huge win in my title. Fantastic Four huge win. This is a big win. Fantastic Four being the biggest pre-sale ticket movie of the year. Also, this is my website, thecosmicwonder.com. If y'all haven't jumped on, I actually need to change Cosmic Entertainment to just Cosmic Wonder. But yeah, right here, Fandink. I can probably. No, I can't. Maybe there we go.
That's crazy, especially with Superman. Wild.
But has Superman pre-sale tickets gone on sale yet?
Oh, because it does come out after.
I don't think they have gone on sale yet. And I'm curious to see how that does compare to the Fantastic Four now. That's actually one of the biggest things I've thought. I've been like, wow, I wonder what Superman does. I think I missed this comment, and I apologize. I'm pro male masculinity because Jasmine's here. I think you have another rival here. I think you have another.
But also, it's not, because I have more masculinity than both of these guys, so it feels like you're still in my column. So I don't.
Well, that's just not true. But it's like our. First of all, I would have loved this to happen. I want to make sure I address these super.
He's all over the MCU, though, isn't he? Like.
Yeah, and I think he's great. I mean, he was already in Multiverse of Madness. He was Reed Richards.
Oh,
identity theft isn't a joke.
Theft is a real thing to him.
Also, that's just not true. That's from How I Met Your Mother. I hope you picked up on that.
I did.
They say that. So, okay, good. Barney always making all of this. Well, that's just not true.
Okay.
The Office fans would go nuts for Randall Park. I mean, yeah.
The Marvel fans would go crazy. At this point, he is legend incarnate.
Yeah. But this right here is really cool to me. Sold more tickets on the first day than any other film of this year. Like, that gives me hope, because, you know, we've talked about this on the channel a bit, especially during these live streams, or maybe just on the live streams. But I'm really tired of a lot of the negativity that's going around, right? I mean, like, I think if we all had a little bit better positive attitude towards some things, and I don't want to generalize everybody saying that they don't, but I think there's like a big percentage of people who are maybe getting burned out on superhero movies. Maybe that's that superhero fatigue. I understand it, because it's been kind of hit and miss lately, right? I mean, it has, and I can recognize that. But excuse me, but I do think if like we get hit with a good positive energy, people will enjoy films a little bit more. And I think that's a good start with the Fantastic Four. Signs that people really do want to see this movie.
I think that if I may, I think that this.
No, okay, so Chris.
You may
not. Anyways, yes, Jasmine.
I think that threw me off. We need new. We need new when it comes to superhero. We need something fresh and something that is gonna not only make us go to the theaters, but make us work while at the theaters. I think keeping our attention. And Fantastic Four is a great not only movie for that, but a concept of having us work, because we've had 2 other iterations of the Fantastic Four. So not only are we looking at this as its own property, it's its own brand new film, because things are changing now. We're getting into the multiverse. We're getting into the big thing, the big word that's coming up.
Avengers?
No, the word, the like
multiverse? Battle world.
Yes, Chris said it. Thank you.
What?
Incursion.
The incursion. Thank you.
The big.
Yeah, don't know how you didn't get on that, Warren. That is the comic accurate sign language for incursion.
Oh yeah.
But the fact that we've had 2 other iterations mean that people are going in there and are going to compare it to, whether we want to or not, they're going to compare it to the other Fantastic Fours, and that gives them another reason to go and watch this. And I think that that's exciting.
It is exciting.
Can I ask you guys a question while we're switching? Big word. Yeah, incursion is a big word. I couldn't think, no thinky. Do you guys, and this is a very privileged question, and I do apologize for everyone in chat for it. Do you guys buy your movie tickets? Like where you guys are, or do you guys get screenings where you are?
I like to sneak in the back.
Oh no, I don't get any screenings here. I buy all my movie tickets. I bought my Fantastic Four tickets.
How did it look where you guys are? Because I know in LA when we look at the like it's all packed. Like when they say it's sold out.
Oh yeah. No,
just because you guys are in
it's definitely a lot more packed for the Fantastic Four. I'm trying to remember when I saw the Thunderbolts. It was the very first screening of the day. And yeah, it wasn't too packed. Maybe like 40% capacity.
So it's easy for you guys to get tickets.
Oh yeah.
It's not really. I don't need to be up the night. For Spider-Man: No Way Home, it was pretty hard. That was about the only one I've ever like locally experienced a hard time getting a ticket.
Yeah, it's interesting because in LA, if you aren't there, it's like the Coachella. Like if you're not there to get your tickets, either you got to drive 30 minutes out of town to try to do it, or you're just not seeing it in the first week. So
30 minutes in LA is like what, 2 miles?
That's the Long Beach.
For real.
Nothing.
It's like a 2-mile drive.
I've driven in LA enough and Ubered in LA enough to freaking know. I do want to address this. I think it's a joke. If it's not, I am who you would consider the Cosmic Wonder.
Hit him with the intro.
Yeah. I consider the channel the Cosmic Wonder, although people call me Cosmic, and I've let people call me that for like 7 years now. So, but we're all Cosmic Wonders, all of us.
We are
Cosmic.
I am Groot.
Yeah, but I mean, this is a big W, I think, for superhero films in general. We've talked about it a few times today, like originality and just something different. And I think we mentioned this last time, but that's like a big reason The Boys has done so well, and like Invincible has done so well.
Invincible.
Yes.
Yeah. Loved Invincible.
Yeah. So I think what's crazy to me is I think the Thunderbolts was a good step in that direction. They should have focused more on Sentry being an absolute just freaking crazy rock star. Really is what they should have really, like, we got that one scene with them fighting there. So there should have been a lot more of that. Like, I get it's not a typical superhero film, right? They're like the misfits, but like that's the kind of superhero stuff that we want. Correct me if I'm wrong, chat, but that was the best thing in the movie. Watching this guy who's invincible, who can fly, he can do all this stuff. He's basically, Superman, just kicked the crap out of these relatively normal people. Yes, they have super soldier serums, and some of them can like what does Ghost do?
Apparition.
I can't remember the word. Phase. She phases in and out of stuff. Yeah, I mean, like
Jasmine, I was going for the biggest word you can find.
Right, and don't get me wrong, like Jasmine and I have talked about this in depth, where she talked about how she loves meth jokes.
Oh, I was on a cruise.
I was like, we're going into depth. I do like cocaine jokes, because it's new and it's fresh and it shocks the audience.
Cocaine is new and fresh, or the joke is new and fresh?
I think honestly both, whichever. Okay.
It was funny to me, the meth thing. I was on meth, like it was a funny thing to me. And we talked about how deep the movie got, which I do personally enjoy, because I have 2 psychology degrees. But for a superhero film, we want the superhero stuff. And don't get me wrong, even watching like the opening, well, not the opening scene, but the scene where the different Thunderbolts members are like fighting each other, awesome. Super awesome. But then when you have the Sentry as like the super being and he's kicking the crap out of them, that's what people want, I think. Again, correct me if I'm wrong, chat, but that was the best scene. That's what they should have focused on. I just feel like Marvel and Disney in general has been focusing on the wrong thing with their films, and that's why they're not working. They're not focusing on the right thing.
But I mean, that was them focusing on Thunderbolts, is them focusing on the right thing. Everything in that formula worked for us. They gave us they gave us our heroes falling, and I say our anti-heroes rather, but we saw them fail. We saw it not be okay. And that was the whole point of this film. So why didn't this one, if it's hitting all the beats, if it's hitting
but that's what I was going to say, but it failed technically at the box office, right? Mm-hmm. I just saw something this day, it kind of blew my mind. It's going to end up making less money than Black Adam did.
Oh my God.
I thought the movie was great. Don't get me wrong. I thought the movie was great, but this comment is what I'm saying. more fighting scenes or longer. They should have focused. So that's what I'm saying. When they're focusing on Sentry, they should have given us more fighting scenes, and they should have made them longer. Whereas at the end, they focused more on like the mental health and like you're not alone, which I do love, but it should have been. They should have. I'm not saying they should have cut anything. They should have added more of the fighting. Like to me, if Sentry as a separate entity than the Void fought each other, that would have been baller. That's what they should have done. So the second everybody wraps their arms around Bob, then he's like, no, I'm not alone. And he gets up and then he fights the Void.
I agree.
Like
that
1v1.
That moment of you're not alone, and that gives you strength. Very Captain.
Oh no, I still want that moment for sure. Yeah. But yeah. But I mean, Agatha all along, somebody's mentioning that. I actually think that was a good example of how they actually did focus on what was important. We all knew who Agatha was. We knew she wasn't really that great of a person, but we didn't know why, what drove her there. But the whole entire series, nobody trusts Agatha. We don't trust Agatha. We're wondering what's going on. We do learn about her backstory that just makes you dive deeper into her pain, which I think I personally really love. And then at the end, you know, she takes people's power, she kills them. And then at the end, you're like, oh my gosh, is she going to kill Billy? He's like, don't take it all. And you don't really know. And then we get a really good ending for that. I think they focused on all the really cool things and then added really cool things around it. Right. And
to have Agatha walking away with Billy, just building that new friendship and that mentorship, I think is really important too, because we lost a hero in Agatha, but we also gained one in the ghost of Agatha. So, and that is comic accurate as well. Agatha becoming a ghost and then
mentoring the kid,
Witch eventually coming back and saving her. So who knows? Maybe the Scarlet Witch will come back too. You know?
This is a good. Sorry, Jasmine. I love the hands, by the way. Like I really do love the hands, like Chris said. Facts. The MCU is famous for these amazing spectacles. The MCU needs more color accuracy and spectacle and more. Yeah. So, and that's what I'm saying is like the spectacle of it all. That's why we go to the theaters, or at least originally did for these superhero films. That's why Iron Man was so crazy when it first came out. It was such a spectacle, right? To be able to see Iron Man flying on screen. It was amazing to see Sentry do that, but we saw it like once. We saw the Void do it, but it's a little different, right? So, you know, I mean, I don't know. I hope the Fantastic Four is a good turning point. I really do. And I think it is going to be, because I think here's also the thing. If Sue is the leader, I don't know who knows what people say when they say she's the leader. I don't think it's like a title. Right. I think maybe she just takes charge a lot, which again, if Reed is all caught up and doing his math and stuff, that's probably all he's thinking about.
Just so I have it all.
Sue's there to do other things. What?
I would love to know, just so I have it all in one place, both of you, what are the things that you have heard in the news, in the Marvel news, in the Marvel spectrum, that upset you if it came to fruition? What have you heard about Fantastic Four that you truly do not want to see when the film comes out?
I haven't really heard anything, to be honest, because here's what I was actually getting at. I love Sue Storm's character. I'm okay with her taking charge, and it again, if they write it the right way. If it's all about Reed having to figure out this math problem, whatever he's trying to do on that chalkboard, right? And then because like Sue doesn't do the math, right? Reed does the math. So in turn, does Sue kind of take charge because Reed's focused on that? It makes sense, and I'm okay with that. And I really love Sue as a character, so I'm okay seeing a lot of her, right?
Sure.
But yeah, no, this person said I love Vanessa Kirby, but besides that, I do love Sue Storm as a character. She's my favorite member of the Fantastic Four. I really do. But I don't know. What would bug me if they really did basically make Mr. Fantastic a beta male? Like I'm really tired. Disney's famous for that. They have pushed narratives where men aren't viewed as important, or they're viewed a lot weaker in the overall story. That, you know what I mean? Like it's kind of like you don't need a man thing. But
that's a big point for me in just life and in general. I don't think that you need to uplift someone else by belittling another.
Exactly, and that's what I feel like they've done in a lot of stories.
Yeah, That's just, and that's a point of contention in just regular life. I will actively avoid people who make themselves seem better by belittling somebody else.
Yeah, make yourself seem better by just being better. And I call it the modern family conundrum, and it kind of goes back to what Jess was saying about, Jazz was saying about I just like had a total mind blank. Like I was I'm about to have a stroke. Like I don't know what's actually happening right now. My head like exploded. It goes back to what Jazz was saying about Reed being the typical father. But like in every TV show for the last 10 years, the father is like some dumb, no authority wielding, and that's why I call it the modern family, because like you're always like this just stupid joke, butt of the family. Everybody makes fun of you, and it is like kind of an ongoing thing. So yeah, to what Warren says, like if that's the whole idea, is like, oh well, Reed's just like this joke and everybody just makes fun of him all the time, and he's like this weird dude. Like you'll lose some of that first family flair because it's a group thing. It's not Reed Richards individual, it's the group thing, and you see that they have their problems because they consistently do in the comics internally, but then on the outside, like they're this very well polished, sparkly, the first family, like the first family should have this kind of like shelf location where everybody can perceive it that way. So I kind of hope that that's something that is preserved in the movie, like the first family's look, not like, oh man, Reed's losing it. But he is, and he does consistently, but
would you be okay
keep that internally?
First family for cameras, and then behind the scenes it was less tight-knit group.
Yeah, I think that's pretty realistic.
Oh, sure.
I think that's exactly what it is. Like Reed's always
they don't always get along all the time.
Yeah, they fight all the time,
and that's a family in general, right?
But you don't air your dirty laundry, like they're still Marvel's first family. And I think that I would like to see some unity. I would like to see Disney behind, like, hey, the family, regardless if it's made of superheroes, if it's made of a rock, if it's made of whatever different internal issues that they're having that we'll see on the screen, but we're supporting each other on the outside of the world. Like we're not belittling each other in the outside world, and we're that's important to me. I think family value is something that's taken a big hit, regardless of what that family is made of, race, orientation, whatever. I think family value as a whole has taken a big hit in the last decade.
That's actually
that's a big problem.
Yeah, I would agree with that. And I don't know if this comment is commenting on that, but yeah, give
me some Ohana.
The Lilo and Stitch thing, right? They just kind of threw it out the window for some reason. Yeah, I don't know why such for lack of a better word, I would just say like traditional values are being like really looked down upon in recent years for some reason. You know what I mean? Because I think people think if you believe in traditional values, you can't let anybody else have their own different take on things, which just isn't true. And that's kind of like the normalcy that I was talking about. I don't think most people care. Like they have their own beliefs. Other people have their beliefs, and most people are kind of cool with that. Right. So yeah, but the devaluing of the looking down upon like the normal family type of thing, I do feel like that's been there as well. I did miss this super chat, and Comic Book Reporter, I did see this. I even tweeted about it today, like a couple hours ago. I want to do a video on it because
we're talking about the what do I want to call it? The cutscene, the ending credit scene, the post credit scene.
So a lot of people were saying that the post credit scene for the Thunderbolts, the ship has fins on the end of it, right? For tails, whatever you want to call it. And the post-credit scene for the Thunderbolts, there are 4. In the trailer for the Fantastic Four, there are 3. So a lot of people are like, this is a different ship. So Kevin Feige, let me just pull up my tweet here because that's the fastest place I know where to find it. So when Kevin Feige was asked about that, he literally said, there, as in the Fantastic Four, ship is the Excelsior. And there is a Fantastic Four ship entering the MCU, but I'm not sure they're the same ship. This guy. He's good
with his words. He's very, very good with his words.
Honestly, no, he is very good with his words because it's just like after he says that, I'm like, I don't know. I don't know.
A matter of we'll get a new trailer coming out soon that's got 3 fins instead of 4. It could mean anything at this point.
Yeah.
The way that they tease us and play, like, It's too much. This has been like 2 years of them just gaslighting us.
I know, it's been crazy. I wonder if this is like Excelsior, obviously Stan Lee, but I wonder if that's their way of like including a cameo. You know how they used to Stan Lee used to always cameos in movies. So I think there's like pictures of him now, right? Like in Deadpool, it was on the bus, I think, right? Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. But going back to that, the big theory was, I mean, this really does open it up for so much. Is it just a different chip that the Fantastic Four might have gotten from another universe? Is it an entirely different Fantastic Four team? Is it Doom?
Is it
you know what I mean? Like
something happened to the first ship where they had to use this one. This was like a moment of crisis. Like there are so many options.
Right.
They could go.
There's so much. There's so much that it's just. I said this in my video today. I do think this movie is probably going to be a little bit more multiversal than we think it's going to be, especially since we heard about that CCXP footage where they talk about going to the black hole. I'm like, I mean, it's got to go to a different universe, right? It like, what else would happen?
They all die at the end.
Yeah. Well, and Vanessa Kirby even said that she nerded out and she got super into quantum physics.
Oh, I saw that today. Yeah.
Yeah, that's got to be because the black hole, and I think maybe that
was because of her powers. I thought that's
maybe that too.
Light refractions of her powers. Like that is her quantum physics needing to understand that and deep dive.
Maybe, yeah, because I've seen the leaked concept art that got out. She's putting her hands on the floor and her powers are spreading to where she can actually kind of see around corners and stuff. Yeah, it's almost like sonar. So there's a lot that I'm really excited for with the Fantastic Four.
It's light, like, and this is now going deep into anime, but there's been so many different animes where light refraction is a power. Like you can duplicate yourself, you can change the temperature. There's so much that goes into light power. That is just incredible, and I cannot wait, because as much as I love Jessica Alba and Kate Mara, I think was the last one. The fact that we are like in this nerdy comic book anime era just means that her powers are only going to expand.
Yeah, we don't talk about fan four stick, but even though I do like that actress, Kate, I do like that. But Jessica Alba was, oh my gosh, yeah, totally my crush when that first Fantastic Four came out. Love her. But yeah, Sue, the one shot that we've seen of Sue, let's do, I wonder if this changes. Will it change? It does. This shot.
Just smizing.
How come I can't ever just like bring a big photo up? Oh, did it not follow? Oh, it didn't follow. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, no, like the way her powers look in this to me is just like crazy cool, man. And yeah, that's a fierce look right there. I've never actually zoomed in on this to see it that much.
The eyebrow up and everything.
Yeah, I think she's perfect casting for Stu Stormer. I really like it, but I don't know. There is so much to be excited for, and my buddy commented this on a post that I did today because I put a bunch of Fantastic Four pictures on Instagram, and he's like, 3 trailers, we've seen literally just one shot of Mr. Fantastic stretching, and it was barely anything.
That's the only one from the whole movie.
Yeah, he only does it one time. Can you
enjoy your stretch?
Okay, Jasmine, you were talking about things that would make me mad. That would make me mad.
And now we know. I think that would make everyone mad. That and what would suck about that is this movie could be a A+ 100% Rotten Tomatoes, but if Reed Richards only stretches once, that would be the entire conversation. No one would talk about anything else.
Well, they're not going to do. They can't do that. It's the Fantastic Four.
They might. We don't know.
No, they just
Reed refuses to use his power the whole movie because his brain is his power and he doesn't need powers. And then at the very end, he does it to save the day.
Is that Blue Steel Zoolander? Yeah, I mean, and then there's the whole story with Franklin Richards. I mean, that's going to be crazy. You know it, right? I mean, it's just
I feel like Franklin is setting up because he's going to be a baby. And like, I know that even as a
baby, just a baby.
It's just a baby. I know that even as a baby, he has powers, but I want to see Franklin with, you know, a little bit cognizant mind knowing. Like, I think that
even as a baby, he knows.
Even as a baby, he knows.
That's what you're talking about?
Yeah, even as a baby, I understand that he has superpowers and he can do a lot. Like, we know his powers. For people who want to do the research on their own about Franklin, I'm going to let you do that. But I know that him and Galactus have like a bargain in the future. So
there's so much with Galactus.
Yeah.
Especially with Secret Wars, because with Secret Wars,
right.
Franklin is like, he like rides Galactus all the time, like sitting on top of him. But then there's also future Franklin Richards, who goes to the past Franklin Richards, takes his power, resurrects Galactus. Galactus becomes his herald. They defeat the Mad Celestial. Like, man, there's so much.
That's what I'm saying. I would rather have adults or like adolescent, or I think it's like preteen Franklin than anything else. But I do find it interesting that both kids of the Fantastic Four, the first family, are essentially raised by other people. I think
Agatha. Yeah.
Well, Agatha, they're raised by Agatha, raised by Dr. Doom, and basically raised by Galactus. Yeah. Like, it's just so interesting that this first family rhetoric, and we're sitting here talking about the values of the family have gone, but quite literally in the scripture of Fantastic Four, their kids are raised by other people.
That's only when they go on missions to do things and they don't want to put the kids in jeopardy.
But I also would extend that to say, like, you choose a lot of your family too. And that's such an important detail there. It's like, that's the projection of maybe the time, because we're not really in that time so much anymore. I feel like
the time more like stable family, like this was.
But you still had people just coming into your house, open up the front door, and like come sit on your couch and drink your Coke without you even being home. I feel like, I guess I wasn't really around, but
when the hell did that happen? Besides like, Bruce doing the
because
in the 50s.
I mean, maybe not. I don't know. In my head, the way I consider it, it's like
your headcanon.
My headcanon, yeah, which is just not really relevant or have any value to anybody's opinion. But I just feel like the ideology is of, here's mom and dad. Mom and dad are trying to save the world. Here's the team of people they have helping raise a family that are part of the family. And sometimes that's even Doom, who has such a complicated relationship with Valeria, but it's like so beautiful and it's so sacred that even Reed doesn't really oppose it because he understands. But like, it's just so complicated. I don't know. I think it's really cool.
Valeria wouldn't even be alive without Dr. Doom. Like,
exactly.
Like, it's not that complicated when you really break it down. Like, there's a deep like binary kind of love that they form, and I hope that we get to see that on screen. I hope that this movie does so well that we get to continue on and see, because someone asked in the chat if Valeria is going to be in this film. I don't think so. I hope not. One child is enough. That's already enough to have to contend with. We don't need the other.
I mean, the only this comes back to something that I think has been topic of concern since we've heard Robert Downey Jr. is coming back as Doom. You know, with Valeria, like, there's so much backstory with Doom. Like, he literally saves her and Sue's life. You know, he's the reason he names her, right? Yeah. It's like there's so much. There's too much backstory there that they'd have to do that I don't think they have time to do.
I don't want them to have the time to do it.
Well, I want her to be born, and I want us to get that story. So that needs to be post Secret Wars, and we have to have a new Doom, which you think about, it's like that's going to take a long time. And Franklin and Valeria aren't that big. Like, they're not that far apart. So I am worried about a lot of things with that. Like, it is an interesting move to have the Fantastic Four be from another universe, to have Franklin be born already. You almost wonder, it's like, does Robert Downey Jr. coming back as Doom cause more problems than it fixes? I'm sure they have. I'm sure before they did it, they had it all kind of planned out. And the Russo brothers are great. Everybody who's really attached to this is great. So I'm like not really worried about it, but I am at the same time wondering what they're going to do, because it does kind of make some problems bringing Robert Downey Jr. back as Doom, right? Rather than taking maybe not even that, but introducing Doom so quickly out of the blue. right before his own right before his own movie Doomsday, that kind of presents a lot of issues because we don't have that backstory. So
I have this really gut feeling that I think about like every so often is what if RDJ is barely in the movie? Like what if it's just like
it wouldn't be called Doomsday if that were the case.
Well, he doesn't, I mean, he can have more than one Doom, but we don't need RDJ to be the Doom. I just have this just the way that we keep getting teased by Marvel. If they did all of this just for him to die in like the first 15 minutes and we get introduced.
I think that would be too much of it. I think people would hate that. And I think Marvel should realize that when you're trying not to.
I'm just saying, you heard it here first.
Don't hate me.
I'm just saying, if it actually happens, y'all heard it here first.
No, I don't see that happening. I think fans would riot. I think that would be
problematic.
It would.
Why do you secretly love that though?
I think because I mean we've talked from the beginning of the stream. We need shock, we need awe, and I think that not giving.
Why are you trying to Game of Thrones the MCU?
Because it's time. Because it's time. No, but I think that it would be such a big not slap in the face, but kind of that to say, you know, you guys don't run the MCU. There's this big idea that the fans are what generates and operates how we do the MCU. And I think having something like that where you have RDJ and so we have all these people thinking they know what the story is, but having Marvel be a Thanos about it and say, you don't know anything. Like you never knew. This is our world and you're just along for the ride.
I'll tell you what, $100 million for 15 minutes is crazy.
Huh?
$100 million for 15
$100 million for 15 minutes would be literally insane. So that's actually another confirmation right there that he's in it for more than 15 minutes. Real quick, I get crap for this all the time. Valerie or Valoria, it's Valeria, how I believe it to be said. Valeria. Some people do say Valeria. The Italian pronunciation is Valeria. I don't know what the Latvian pronunciation is for it. That's what it
Romanian,
is,
right? It's Romanian roots.
Well, that might be what it is. So it's every time I say Valeria, there's somebody that says it's not pronounced that, it's pronounced Valeria. And then when I say Valeria, they're like, bro, it's Valeria. I've always said Valeria because that's a real name that does seemingly have those roots in it. Because remember, Doom names her after his teenage love. I don't know how old Doom was when he was with Valeria. I mean, through college as well when he gets back. So his early 20s love, you know. So just say Val. Well, no, because now we have Valentina Allegra de Fontaine. Yeah. Wait, is this for Sue Storm? Because Vanessa Kirby's pretty hot. But I mean, it makes you wonder. We've heard stuff about the post-credit scene. Maybe Doom's in the movie, but then the director came out and was like, Doom's not in the movie. I'm like, yeah, and I say this all the time. Andrew Garfield's not the werewolf. He's not in Spider-Man No Way Home, right? So it's just, and Avengers Endgame isn't called Avengers Endgame. Like, they'll say whatever the heck they want to throw us off. I'm okay with that. And it's actually kind of like you said, Jasmine. I would love for Marvel to do something so out of left field that it just completely shocks us and is amazing, right? Yeah. That's what we want, because like I've said before, if you make a movie and I could write a better movie than you, shame on you. And people say like, oh, well, like YouTubers and people got expectations up with all their theories and all this stuff. No. That's not on me. The fact that I could probably write a better movie than some of these movies is not my fault. It's Marvel's fault, not mine or any other studio's fault, right?
I agree.
Yeah. So they should be doing things that are completely out of left field that sticks within the boundaries of staying faithful to the lore of it all, right? The source material, but still do a story that's incredible. Like that's literally their job. Like that's literally all it's about. And so when you get into like if Sue is the leader and they're going for a big feminist type of thing here, I'm not saying that's what they're doing. I'm just hypothetical situation. If that's what you focus on before you write the story, it's not going to be a good story, most likely, right? Like you have to focus on just building an overall really good story and work all your other crap in there after the fact, right?
Is feminism the crap that you're referring to in this?
I'm referring to anything that is not good for the main story. Maybe feminism is good for the main story and it's not part of that other crap. Crap is just a general term for whatever won't really magnify a movie, right? So it depends on the story. Like you're like, oh, does this? It's like it literally depends on the story. It depends
on the story. I get it. Anything that bogs down the rhetoric that you're trying to get across,
right? If it's part of that, because we know Sue's gonna she solves like world peace and like maybe world hunger. I can't remember, right? And if feminism's a part of that, okay, it fits in the story. Cool, right? But I don't know.
No, everything you're saying makes sense. And I think these are your own personal wants and desires. But the main thing that you're trying to get across is you like to be shocked in a good way.
Oh, totally.
In a way that makes sense.
Yeah, no, totally. And that I think part of that is what we were talking about before is kind of the spectacle of it all, right? Like I think shock and awe is part of spectacles as well, But I think so. I'm taking it back to Century again. To me, that kind of was these men got men struggling. What?
Someone earlier was like, lol, Jasmine ready to pounce if feminism is referred to as crap. So my comment was, these men got me struggling.
Oh, these men.
These men, did I say it wrong?
You said these men got men struggling. I was like, I'm making men struggle.
Oh yeah, I'm making all those men struggle. Those men are like,
I think everybody knows me enough by now to know that I don't really have any hate in my heart.
I didn't say a word in that entire conversation.
Well,
no. 45 minutes. There's no hate.
Yeah. No, I don't have any hate in my heart for really any I'm very much like, oh, you believe this and I believe this. That's fine. I don't really care. Like we can all get along no matter what. I
don't believe in much these days anyway.
Yeah. What is it? What even is real? Barton, what's up?
Simulation. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, I just when it comes to movies specifically, I just want
to be entertaining.
A good movie. Yeah, and I feel like some movies have actually missed the mark on entertainment recently, right? Like it's supposed to be entertainment. Like yes, you can push messaging that you think is very important for people, but it's kind of like we have a rule on just to tell the public, we have a rule that I don't like to talk politics or anything that, is like super opinionated or controversial in the chat because I think a lot of this should be escapism. That's why, not because I don't care about that other stuff or I don't like it, but because this should be escapism. And that's how I've always viewed movies. Like I love, and people are always like, what do you watch TV shows? I'm like, comedies mostly because I like to laugh and just forget about everything else. Right?
I had a hard time with that. I love The Handmaid's Tale. I watched that whole thing through, but there's a lot of people that I'll talk to who are like, I will never watch The Handmaid's Tale. Why would I watch that when that's happening in real life? Like that's why, like you said, it's escapism. So why would I watch something that's as awful as that?
I don't know anything about that. So I don't know. Is it an
opening scene?
Yikes!
Is it about slavery?
Essentially, like what if? And I'm literally, I apologize for. I'm still talking shows and movies. It's just literally everything you just said. I'm not allowed to talk about. But it's what if men took over and religion took over so much so that because babies aren't being born anymore, they decide to make the handmaids, and those are government sanctioned women who have babies for people. So they have their little habits and their little outfits, and they can do nothing but produce babies for people. So and it's basically this government
forced to do it.
They're forced to do it. And government, they take over the USA, and the USA is like a Christian domain. And so everyone tries to flee to Canada and Hawaii and everywhere, but those who can't get out in time are basically subject to the new Americas, or Gilead is what it's called. So it's just, it's like where the world will be if we continue down the path we're on.
Well, this is totally off topic because this isn't escapism at this point, but a lot of countries are really struggling with their birth rates. Like America's one of them, but like Korea, Japan, like I hope nothing ever that extreme would happen. But they're paying people in Korea. They're paying people to get married, to have kids, like $30,000. Yeah, but
that's kind of what it's saying. Like I get what you're saying when it's like, why would I watch a show that is highlighting all of this negativity when I'm just trying to I just did a full 8 to 9 or 8 to 5, and I just I get that.
I totally get it. But to me, specifically talking about Marvel or like DC or something, Yes, I do watch Stranger Things, Justin. Anything like that. Excuse me. I don't know if most people are like this because I have actually never really spoken out loud about it. I kind of assume a lot of people are like this. I am really able to put myself in a world. Like I'm able to put myself within the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Like a lot of people, I'll see comments and they're like, how are you able to like talk about all this? Like, the structure of it all. I'm like, because I know, like, I'm in the universe, like in my mind, like that's where I live. Right. Not like I'm like delusional or anything like that. Right. But like, I just understand the mechanics of it all. And I can do that with other things as well. Right. Like I sometimes you can set aside some things for the sake of entertainment. If you can you're just like, okay, this is the scenario, right? So in the scenario, that's the movie I'm watching or whatever. But I still do get how some people wouldn't like that. But
yeah, I wonder if maybe that's why Thunderbolts didn't do too well, because people were looking for an escapism and instead they got
that's exactly what I'm talking about. Where I feel like we are missing the spectacle of it all and the entertainment of it all, where the entertainment should have been, look at this freaking superhero that nobody can kill. Watch him fight a bunch of people for a decent amount of time until eventually he fights this other dark side of himself that's also a super being. And then his teammates do help him by saying, hey, we're here with you, blah, 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 blah,
blah.
Right. I don't think I'd ever want this. By the way, I don't think I'd ever want this. I think you'd watch me lose all my hair within a month, and gain like 50 pounds like super quickly, like, and then I'd have to deal with YouTubers like me. Like, I do find it weird. I do find it weird that studios don't consult with some YouTubers who do this literally every day. Right?
It would give too much power to the people. It has to stay.
No, not saying, hey, give us ideas, but just saying, hey, what have you noticed? Hey, even asking for feedback on their own movies. Like, why aren't we involved in some of these test screenings? You know what I mean? Like, I just feel like it would be smart. They don't have to listen to us.
But I mean, I feel like that's the direct audience. That's at least one of the, you need the middle of America people, but you also should be getting from comic advocates. Right. And I think that, that is a very good question.
Maybe they do, and I'm just not one of them. maybe those NDAs are signed and people have been.
I mean, I'm surrounded.
Maybe they got Chris. Who knows?
I've seen them do it for other WB shows, or like for other films, but I've never for. Maybe they're just so confident in themselves on these big budget movies, these blockbusters, that they're like they couldn't care less.
I do think I see some comments about this as well. Like, I feel like, has there maybe been, this might be for Ironheart, maybe been a lack of caring about some projects from the studio? Ironheart's not actually a good example because I'm sure when they were filming it, they cared a lot, but now it's like, I mean, there's no promotions for that movie. In fact, okay, so we talked about it last week. Going back, I lost the tab already. This month.
While you were looking for that tab, I just got today the invite for that. And apparently it's going to be like a smaller thing. There's no fan pit. It's just kind of.
Of course not. Yeah, no. It doesn't align with what they're trying to do now. That's what it is. It doesn't align with what they're trying to do now. They're not going to waste any money on it. They just literally fired people. Like, and so bringing it back to what we talked about last week, we heard a rumor that they fired everybody that was working on that project pretty much. And we just officially hear about these layoffs. That could be true. So do I have any Marvel tattoos? No, I have tattoos, but I don't. It's actually funny that I don't have any Marvel tattoos, come to think about it. But yeah. But yeah. What is it true that Robert Downey Jr. is no longer Dr. Doom? This came from the Hollywood Reporter. Definitely don't think that's true. I can look it up
of the stream again real quick.
Yeah.
What? Did I predict this into being?
Yeah, somebody's like, guys, we got an idea.
Could you imagine?
What? Yeah, I mean, I'm not hearing anything about this, but
it would be, we'd have to cut the stream if something like that were true.
Yeah, sure.
Honestly, just leave the stream up at this point.
Yeah, right. And just you can watch me record a video.
Yeah, just watch or record the video.
What's funny is I'm seeing a lot of old articles even after.
Anything.
What's funny is I'm seeing old articles about even after Robert Downey Jr. was announced as Doom, as some people are like, no, Robert Downey Jr. is not playing Dr. Doom. It's like they literally announced Doom.
Yeah.
No, he's playing Dr. Doom. I mean, $100 million.
Made me look.
Oh, was it a joke? I mean,
I'm just saying. Like, I looked just to be
sure. It would be if that were true. It would be everywhere.
Yeah, no. I have seen some type of recasting rumors or some crap like that, but that's not no. Like, guys, Robert Downey Jr. is locked in. The next movie is literally called Doomsday. $100 million plus to him.
Just for marketing. Could you imagine that? $100 million just to market, just to lie, just
right. Yeah, like.
Jesus Christ, talk about a waste of money.
Maybe like, 100 million is a lot.
Especially as you're laying people off and you're just throwing money around like that, just to pull a red herring. That would be the death of the MCU. And
that's what I'm saying. There's they can't pull stunts like that. Like you were saying, like, what if he's in it for 15 minutes? They can't pull that stunt. It would piss so many people off. And I do think there are a lot of people who have been very dissatisfied with Marvel who are maybe right around the corner of signing off, you know what I mean? And like I think that's what I
would have to be.
That's what would happen if they pulled that maneuver.
It would have to be such a good movie that it's forgiven, and I don't know what kind of script would make us forgive them that much. Like,
exactly.
And I wonder if maybe bringing back the OG X-Men is enough for them to tease us like that, but not for Avengers, not for 4 hours.
It's not. Yeah. See, the thing is, this will be their final thought because I got to get going. But the thing is, I do love the fan service, but I don't just want it. It has to fall into a good story. And so like I mentioned before, fan service could fall into crap if it doesn't contribute to the story. You know what I mean? Like, so the X-Men coming back to me is amazing, but in my mind, they're coming back in a really good way. I don't know what that way is, but I'm putting my trust and faith in Marvel that they're not just going to bring them back just to tarnish them. I think what happened in Deadpool and Wolverine was really cool, especially how they broke it down and talked about the legacy and the ending and stuff like that. Like, I think it was great. I think they're going to do that for the X-Men. But if they brought him in just to kill him real fast, I'd be like, what the hell, dude? Like, I'd be mad. Like, and I'm sure some will die. What?
Would you walk out of the theater kind of upset? Or
no, I would be very upset though. And I'm sure some are going to die, but your big ones like your Cyclops and jeez, don't kill Professor X again. Your Professor X and your Magneto, all that stuff. Like if they die super quickly in the movie,
Xavier's dead.
No, I mean at the end of the movie, fine, sure, but like right when they're introduced, just to kill them, that's just dude. That
we're gonna die. Like we're gonna watch them.
I think there's gonna be a lot of deaths.
Yeah, they were. Literally
Warren would throw his Galactus popcorn at the screen. Yeah, I'm gonna bring the Galactus one to every theater from now on. Well, that's what they call it. They call it the Galactus vessel thing. Yeah. So I don't know. As long as it's done in a great way, I think we'll be all right. And the same thing goes for Dr. Doom. But I think Marvel has a really good plan. So that's my final comment. Y'all can leave us with your final comments if you'd like.
Chicken nuggets are a good source of protein.
Depends on where you get them from. Depends on where you get them from. Chick-fil-A, sure.
Vanessa Kirby is absolutely doing Blue Steel. That was my final thoughts.
Magnum. Okay, well, thanks for joining us, everybody, today. Super appreciate it. We will figure out. Hold on, let me go back to.
I took a picture of it.
The top chatters.
Big yawn for me.
I hate that it cuts off some of y'all's names because I'm trying to find. I can't say the full names. I'm looking in the chat right now to try to find the full names. But when I look at who's in the leaderboard, it kind of cuts some people's names off, and I can't really see.
Oh, I see the full names.
Khaleesi Direwolf. Oh, Khaleesi Direwolf. I know that name. Yeah. You are number one today. Oh, wait, hold on. Okay, no. Lots of people tied for number one. Manchester United. That's happy. Yeah, I know that. Oh, it doesn't tell me. Oh, it's interesting. It tells me your handles, but it doesn't list the names because I'm pretty sure.
Oh, because you have like the YouTube handle.
Happy is Manchester United.
Yeah.
But it doesn't say happy. It's just giving me and like Mr. Jones, I know is Chris, right? Christopher.
Yeah, it does just give you the
handles. It just gives me the handles. Well, so we'll have to figure that out. But there's a lot of people tied for first, and
I took a picture.
And I appreciate you all, even if you're just watching and chilling in the background. Still appreciate you. Thanks for all the super chats, and I'm next week. I don't foresee any problems. I think we'll be back next week. So hope to see y'all here. Mm-hmm. Peace. Hold it. Hold blue steel.